Okay, good afternoon, viewers. This is Charles again, and today we are going to continue with our series on overheads. That's cost accounting, paper 7, and we already finished the high-low method. So allow me go to the least squares method, and we're going to be using this question 6, May 2019, that is CPA paper. And it says the academic registrar of the Public University has identified the number of hours taught as a cost driver for extra teaching overheads. The following is a summary of the number of hours and overhead costs for the paper taught. For the papers taught per month, we have the months, we have the number of hours, then we have the cost they spend, that's the overhead cost. And they are saying these overheads, they gave a cost driver as the number of hours taught. It's like this cost they have incurred on teaching, it can only be traced to the number of hours. If you want to determine these ones, we shall see the cost drivers. Those are the ones that we use to absorb the overheads. We shall see them when we reach to that. And the required is saying, using least squares analysis, estimate the overhead costs when 350 hours are taught. They're saying it is 10 marks. And you have here explain any two causes of over and under absorption of overheads, 2 marks. Accounting treatment, it's also 2 marks for over and under recovery of overhead. These ones we shall talk about them, but to give you a brief idea is that when you, let's say you plan to produce 10,000 units and you have a cost of, let's say, 10 million, and that's what you are trying to spend. That's what you are estimating to spend on the production of the 10,000 units. And when the actual production takes place, you find that instead of producing the 10,000 units, you have now produced 12,000 units. It means we've incurred more than we were supposed to produce. So it means there is under absorption, there is over absorption of overheads, in the sense that you've used the same amount, which is 10 million, to produce more units than you expected. So that one will be added as a gain in the profit and loss statement. Then for the over, it is the opposite, where you produce less than your expectation and you've incurred the same cost. That one becomes a loss and it's supposed to be deducted from the figure of gross profit in the profit and loss statement. So what I've explained, and that's how we treat it in, but we shall learn more as we reach there. So allow me kick off to what we plan to do. So can go to get a sheet. This is solution 2019. I have extracted this formula from online for you because it will look nice when it's a bit extracted. So we are going to look at this one later, but let me try to explain something. We said the equation of the costs, the cost equation, we said it is y equal to bx plus c. plus A. And this was derived from the equation of the straight line, and we said Y equals to the total costs, or you can call them mixed cost, total cost. Because an example of a total cost is a mixed cost. Because as you know, the total cost has both the component of the variable cost and the fixed component. So we said B was the variable cost. This is variable cost per unit. And the X was the activity level. This is the level of activity or output. We are using level of activity because sometimes you may find that it is not output and they have given you, let's say, number of hours. They have given you machine hours, labor hours. So we are using level of activity in that sense. And our A was the fixed cost. So, and we said, but remember when you're using regression analysis, this method for it gives the relationship between the total cost and the level of activity. So here, when you're trying to look at the relationship between those two variables is that we want to know whether if the level of activity changes, we expect that all the mixed cost how will the mixed cost or the total cost respond to the changes in the level of activity? If the level of activity doesn't change, because we know that our X, and in this case, our X will be equaling to the independent variable. And the independent variable is something which doesn't change or its occurrence doesn't depend on the other. So our Y, which is the mixed cost, will be the dependent variable. And this variable, it's something which depends on the other. If let's say we want, because here we are trying to look at the relationship between X and Y. And in this case, what we want to know is that when the level of activity is increasing, what will happen to the dependent variable? Is the dependent variable going to be constant or it's going to be changing? But from here, from our equation, we've got these are the methods we use to determine this A, which will give us the fixed costs, and this B that will give us the variable cost per unit. This B will give us the variable cost per unit. So when we compute these ones and we get the values, then we can substitute in our formula so that we can get the relationship, or we can get the straight line, because you can do it graphically and you plot those figures and you try to look for this A and B. Or you may be using this when you have got A and B, you can put it in the system here in our equation, and this equation will be giving us what we are going to be using to determine if, let's say, they give you a certain level of activity and they want you to determine what will be the cost, or they give you the total cost and they want you to determine the level of activity as we are going to see, because these methods you are thinking you can try to prove how they came about, but this is a bit mathematical. It will be a bit confusing. I hope you can get these formulas. And the other way you can find this A, we have an alternative for A. We can say that our A will be equaling to this, because we are just making here, we just make A from here the subject of the formula, which will be our Y minus our BX. And as we say, this Y is the same as saying fixed costs. Fixed costs are equaling to the total cost minus the variable costs, the total variable cost. But in this time round, we are looking at these values when we are just giving in their average or the mean. Since we are going to be using the whole data set, like for this one, you'll be seeing that we are going to be using the whole data set from January to May. So what we want to come up with one digit that we can use. And the only way we can get that is for us to get the midpoint of these values, whereby we shall be adding this one, we find the sum of this, and the sum of this we divide by their numbers. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when we get the total of this one, we shall divide by 5, and this one we sum up, we divide by 5. That's how we get that. So in this case, this one will be having, since we want the average, then we shall say that all over, that is over. Let me try to increase the font size here, you'll be able to see it well. Let me try to increase a bit, make it broad, and increase the font size to that point. Then we say this one is supposed to be divided by the number, that is the number of items they have given you. Divide by, can say this one, divide by can put this one in a bracket. Then we say divide by n. Say that divide by n, and now our n will be representing the number of the data set. You can either use this one or you use this one. Other books you may find when they are writing summation y over n, summation x over n times b. You may find when they are writing it like that. But here you just know, here we want the total values of the mixed cost and the total values of, let me also put total. so that you don't get confused. Total Y, you put this Y in bracket. Don't want you guys to get confused. And this number, because this number is very, very easy. Here we are saying we want the total value of X. But this one is multiplied. So we put a multiplication sign, use that. That this, what we are getting from here, we are just lessing it is the total. So you can get it like that by getting the total of Y, and our Y, we said it is the dependent variable. So from there you can get you get also the total for X, then all over you divide it by the number. There are 5 in total. So that's how we calculate the A, because if you want to get the A, you have to first get this B, because this B is not calculated yet, because it's, you first look for the A, for the B, so that you put it in this and you get what we are going to be using as in terms of, let me put it up there so that you can be able to do other things from this space. Allow me to remove this because I don't think this one, it will be of any use, because you have already known the costs. You can remove that, and that's how we get those formulas. When you master those formulas, then you can either use this or this for A. But if you are looking for the B, this B has no alternative, so you have to be able to master this. We are saying it is N. N means the number. Let me also put our N. We said our N equals to the number of observations, what they have given us. So that's how we get our N. We just count the how many and you put that one. So having known those ones, then we can be able to proceed with our solution. We said we are going to be using least squares. It is least squares. Okay, let's get our data values. Okay. Yeah, we just want the number of hours and the overheads we spent. Said in January, I'll try to copy these ones. These are what data values. And here we are seeing that because we are going to be following this formula and we shall be seeing what we need. We need X and Y. We need X squared. And we need That's all we need, because the rest we just need the total of each. We need summation, the totals of X value, the Y values, and that's all we need. Can start from our X values, but they say these are hours. The unit is hours. Then we need our Y value, which are in thousands. These are in shillings. So we get our X and Y. They are also in shillings. We also need our X squared. Now we can call it X multiplied by X. That's our X squared. But we say these ones are in hours. So we can proceed. We need all of this. It's not coming to be 200. This is 240. This is 260. 300, 120, 2,500, 4,100, 4,400, 5,000, and the 5,300. So those are our values. Can get a total here. So sum of this. This is going to be our total. So it's not there. Also get the total for the cost. is that. And we get this, our xy will be this multiplied by our total cost. Also get their grand totals. So we get our x squared will be this. This is our x. Multiply it with the same. It will give us that 40,000. Okay, we get this, the total. And that's all we need for having got those totals. We can now proceed with our submissions. We put them in the formula, and we said we first get our B, and the B will be equaling to this. Said we want to start with B, and B will be equaling to this. It is going to be our N, and our N in this case is 5. It will be 5 multiplied by the summation xy. Summation xy is this, which will be our 21. It is 21,288. This one we can put it in a bracket. Minus, can open here brackets for summation x. Summation x is this, which is 1,320 minus, sorry, it's multiplied with the summation y, which is 70,000. And you close the brackets. Once all of this is over, all of that is over our 5, multiply it with, then we can open the brackets, and we say our x squared, which is 357,600, minus, this one we can put it in bracket, and we say want our x, summation x bracket squared. So it will be this 1,320 bracket squared. can multiply it by itself, and you'll be able to get that. This one, you put another bracket to close the other one, and that's how we shall be getting that B. So we can here can try to simplify everything now. By getting this, can say equal sign and say that it is 5 cosine 5 multiplied by this, then we press enter. At least what we are lessing, what we are deducting, we remove it from here. Here we are saying minus, so this one, let's put it here. What we are going to be lessing, it is equal sign 1320 multiplied by this. It is that. So what you are going to be dividing is going to be this, which is 5 multiplied by this one. We shall be getting that. Then for this, it will be equal sign 1320 multiplied by 1320 will give us that. So when we deduct this, cosine this minus this, we shall be getting that. Then we get also this. So it's supposed to be here. One which was here was this 1320 multiplied by 1320. Then to get for this one, it's supposed to be this minus this to give us that. So we get the division, and this time round it's going to be this one divided by this. Be equal to 307, and round off we make it 8. Then we get our A. Now I will say it's going to be equal to this. So it will be the total of this divided by, it's equal sign this, the total of y divided by 5, will be giving us that. Then we also get our x, this, which will be equal sign this divided by 5. So when you get the difference, you shall be getting this minus this. So this is our A. We can now try to form the equation of a straight line, which is going to be y equal to, we've got our A. Oh, sorry, here we made a mistake. This one was supposed to be multiplied by our B before we less it. This answer we got here is supposed to be multiplied by B. So it will be this cosine is multiplied by the 308. And it will be giving us that. So our A here will be cosine this minus this, which will be giving a negative answer, which is 67312. So we can try to get our equation, and our equation is going to be, since we said we are generating it from here, we have our X. Our B, we've already got it. It is equaling to 308 X. Then here, if this, since this one is a negative, you're going to be lessing the 6712. And this becomes our equation of the line. So the question said we have to determine the cost when the hours are this, and we said the hours, our X, so we are supposed to put here where the X is, we put the value, the 350, they have given us this, so that we can determine the total overhead we've spent. So our Y will be equaling to they have told us when X equal to 350 hours. So we can try to find our Y, and our Y in this case will be equaling to this, which is the 38. It will be this one multiplied by the 350 that were given to us. Then we less the 67312. So the total cost will be 40,488. And that will be our final answer.